you to. So before we get too deep into anything, this is recently released. Diana Rossini is reporting that Aaron Rodgers and the Vikings are
No
considering
fucking way, dude. No fucking way. Let's
the,
go.
the prophecy
The
will be
Brett Favre
complete.
prophecy will be completed, dude. He didn't fuck a reporter in New York, but hey, we'll try again in Minnesota. We're gonna scam some poor state for his future daughter's volleyball team. We're gonna complete the whole scumbag trilogy. Gunslinger Part 2, Aaron
So
Rodgers.
so right now, according to Rossini, who is so let's be clear, Diana Rossini is a respected reporter. It's Diana Rossini and Michael Silver of The Athletic. They're both reporting that Minnesota is considering Aaron Rodgers as they're evaluating their options at quarterback, since they let Mr. Darnold walk, and we'll get to him. But holy crow!
I was kind of
Like,
shocked that everyone was like, "Oh, he's only like Steelers and Giants. Those are the two." It's like, are you sure he couldn't go to Minnesota? Let JJ sit another year?
AJ's coming off that big injury, so that's
Exactly. Like
kind of where my head went. I
my
don't
head
know.
never went away from there. And if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're like, you're giving me Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. They just bumped up the offensive line with a couple of signings. Obviously, you're probably losing Cam Robinson, but he was trash in Minnesota anyway.
Yep.
That defense is nasty. You just added Jonathan Allen and Niners Hargrave.
Yep.
Like, Minnesota is basically a ready-made situation. I mean, we saw it with Sam Darnold last year. Four-time MVP doesn't think he can walk in there and potentially win. Also, absolutely shove it to Green Bay.
It would be so poetic. I had to get your take on it because it's
I've
kind of ridiculous.
so rooting
I've been
for it.
waiting for it.
I
I've been
also
waiting.
never liked Aaron Rodgers, and I always hated Brett Favre. So it's just,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, go. Just complete the prophecy.
just
Complete
do
your.
it, do it,
You know it'd be hilarious for the memes, for the lols.
just to do it.
Just go ahead and do
Like I
it.
said, just pick up some more of the scumbag tendencies along the way.
Obviously we're not going to read every deal that happened because there were a billion,
A lot.
like a lot. I want to take you back to March 7th, because that was the day before the tampering, wasn't it? I believe I call it the legal tampering bit, but that was the day that Geno Smith got traded to the Raiders, and all of a sudden things start getting a little bit kooky. Harold Landry gets released from the Titans. Um, bunch of people got released, and I was like, okay, well, it's going to be an interesting offseason because we got Geno Smith now going to the Raiders, and I didn't have them picking a quarterback anyway, but now Seattle needs a quarterback, and that's going to be a thing for sure. And then Seattle went ahead and said, let's just get rid of everybody. Tyler Lockett gets released. They trade DK Metcalf to Pittsburgh to fight with George Pickens every week. If that's not the most chaotic wide receiver
So
room in the
the
history of the NFL.
so hard to be a meme channel because instantly when I saw that signing or the trade, I was like, it's the fucking Step Brothers meme, like where they first meet, they're staring at each other from across the yard. I opened Twitter and there's like 5 people that already posted it. It's like that shit. People are so on top of stuff like that. But
Way on top of it.
absolutely hilarious. There's no chance. There's going to be a game this year where they both get ejected for fighting the other team. There's going to be a game this year where they both fight each other.
Steelers were
Steelers wide receiver bingo.
DK was apparently rumored to be interested in a warm climate
And a
and playing
winner.
for a contender. And do you know what cures that? Whole bag full of money, signed for 5 years, 150 million. It's not even that cold anyway in Pittsburgh as he buys his, $3,000 coat.
Waving at Miles Garrett, who did the exact same thing. Actually, I'd like to be a winner. They're like, would you like this boatload of money instead?
Miles Garrett signed for 4 years, $160 million. He even released this
AKA,
whole
oh,
state.
shitload.
My favorite part of the Miles Garrett one was DK requested a trade, but there was never like a thing where DK came out online and was like, "Dear fans, I want to play for a winner. Sincerely, DK
The
Metcalf."
Haslam's like,
Miles Garrett
are you sure?
Miles Garrett penned a whole note to the fans of the Browns. He
Yeah.
was like, "Dear Cleveland, thank you for everything. I am requesting a trade." And then they were like, $160 million, and he was like, "Yeah, that sounds about right. I can get behind that." Um, we had another couple of big deals that happened that day. Max Crosby also signed.
For a
Is that the day?
fucking boatload of money. I think we had the Crosby deal last week.
Yeah. So Crosby deal was huge. Miles Garrett comes back. Joshua Allen, 6 years, 330 million. Congratulations, sir. Get your bag.
And Haley
Winner,
Steinfeld.
winner of one of my winners of the
My
free
favorite
agent
Josh
period.
Allen meme is the, ooh, look at me. I'm Josh Allen. I have a rocket arm. I'm banging Haley Steinfeld. I make $1 bajillion and I run over professional athletes for a living. Fuck you,
It's
dude.
a classic. Every time he does something good, it comes up in my feed.
Yep. It makes me laugh
Uh,
every time. And we can apparently just keep adding to it because nothing bad happens to Josh Allen except not winning.
he didn't win a lot. Patriots were active. How do you feel about how the Patriots were? Let's get to our
I will
own
give you
hometown.
like a half hour by half hour synopsis. So as I said earlier, I'm very banged up this week. I left work early on Monday, so I came home right about when Twitter crashed, which was right about when free agency opened. Thanks, Elon.
Sure was.
Less politics, more making sure the app works. I saw Big Cat tweet that. Could not agree more.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
So, not happy at first because I was just I was already not happy with Ronnie Stanley re-signing and a couple other players that I wanted re-signed. So, not happy for a while. Money coming off the board elsewhere, and just
It felt like we weren't going to get anybody because
no.
it was like all of a sudden everybody that was going to be a free agent was like, ah, never
But
mind. I'm
that
just going to
proves
stay
how
here.
quick it actually happened. Because by like 1:30, I was like, "Oh, actually, I'm kind of fine. Like, we had a pretty good day." But the
It was a pretty
first
good
like hour, I was just panicking because everyone was coming off the board. Milton Williams
day.
included, by the way.
Yes,
He
yeah,
was
that was
off the
rumored.
board, done deal. Like, I think that even got Schefter, if I'm not mistaken. Like,
It might have.
he was going
It
to the
might have.
Panthers, and then all of a sudden the Patriots came in at the final hour, which that's a turnaround. Haven't seen that in a
Yeah,
while. Patriots coming in to overpay somebody to sweep them away from a different team. What is that about? An
yeah,
absolute bag for Milton Williams, and it could be an absolute unmitigated disaster. I have high hopes. I think he's going to be awesome. That Eagles D line, there's just something in the water over there. Everybody seems to be a star.
yep.
But he drew a lot of single teams. He's going to be getting a lot of double teams in the Patriots defense.
Armore's
He's
there. We got some help.
for sure. Keon White's there. They just got Harold
Keon
Landry.
White's a dog. Harold Landry's a dog. Spillane is aging, but is still a dog.
Basically, all
Just
these moves we're talking about, all these new names you're hearing, those all happened in like half hour
yeah,
span on Monday, and it was all defensive moves outside of Morgan Moses and Mac Hollins, I guess. But
Mac
I
Hollins.
fucking hate Mac Hollins.
Learn to love him, baby.
Fucking barefooted.
Barefooted motherfucker.
I swear to God, he only signed here so he could be in a cold place again, so he could go viral for that stupid shit.
I'm fine with it. You know, he
Fuck
had
Mac
36
Hollins.
catches and 5 touchdowns.
It's gonna take away from
Offense?
other
No,
people.
he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, who's he taking away from our wide
Tra-
receiver room? Is no one.
Travis Hunter and Cooper Cup, hopefully.
Travis Hunter is that's the standard. That's where you can tell that the Patriots' focus was grab as many of the defensive guys, build the identity of this
Correct.
team,
That's where I was
and
going.
draft for the offense, because they're so like the
We
Bills paid
spent
for
like
Josh.
200 million on defense the other day.
Yes, yes, but it was worth it. Um,
Carlton Davis,
Carlton Davis,
already
love
familiar
that.
with defensive coordinator Terrell Williams, which I was listening to Jeremy's stream because again, off of work the other day, and we had the same thought when the Carlton Davis news came across. It's like, oh well, Travis Hunter's off the board. Then the more I thought about it and looked into it, not the case at all. Lions ran a ton of three corner sets last year.
Yep.
The best way to do that with two rangy corners on the outside like Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis. I'm not saying
Yep.
Travis Hunter's a definite, but he's definitely still on the board. They view him as the number one corner and the number one receiver in the draft. They've been pretty vocal about that.
Mhm.
I'm excited. I think there's a chance that could still happen.
You play if you draft Hunter, you can then play him less as a corner, even though he is an elite corner.
Correct.
Um, People are really like selling short the wide receiver tape. I think I need everybody to do me a favor. Stop being an idiot and actually go look at the skill and technique and stop worrying about, oh, he played at Colorado, blah, blah, blah. No, go look at what he actually did. He was getting like incredible separation, great hands, great route running. Like he is a top flight receiver here. And everybody's
Goal
like,
line work.
they should get Tet McMillan. Stop it. Tet's not a top 5 pick. Don't
I like
waste
Ted
your
if we
breath.
trade down.
Yeah, I'll take Ted at the 8 or
I'll be
10 spot.
slightly upset if they trade down and Travis Hunter's still on the board.
I will also be upset if they trade down with Hunter on the board. They shouldn't trade down if they're not taking Hunter, or I'm fine with
We just
Will
lost
Campbell.
Dietrich Wise.
That's okay.
That's sad.
It is sad.
Dietrich Wise and Jonathan Jones are two of my favorite players, and they both went to the Commanders today. That's upsetting.
At least they're going to win.
They are. Commanders are going to be really fucking good. But yeah, so
Yes.
Patriots defense basically bought, paid for. I think they're going to be fantastic. Carlton Davis contract comes up before you have to pay Gonzalez, May, or whoever you draft this year. I like it. Pretty happy with the first day. I think you still need a left tackle. I think you have to go pay Cam Robinson, as much as I don't really like Cam Robinson. I think he's a liability.
I don't
You
think you
got to
have to
pay
pay
someone.
Cameron.
You don't? What do
I don't
you
think
do?
You draft one.
When? 4?
Maybe.
Are you a Will Campbell guy?
I like Will Campbell.
I like Will Campbell
He was
too,
in my
but I still am scared of the arm thing.
Will Campbell was in my first mock at the combine. I had Will Campbell.
Yep.
Very first day at the combine before we saw the measurements.
I think Jeremy did too.
Then we get the news, and then we had the news that that Schefter dropped, which is Cleveland is unabashedly considering a quarterback. One thing he said that I am confident in is that Cleveland is taking a quarterback. So with Cleveland taking the quarterback, Shador will go at 3 to the Giants, whether people want to believe that or not. By the way, posted his full media scrum on YouTube today. Still worth every watch of it. He is every bit of ego that you could expect.
Wonder where he got that.
The Patriots are gifted with the 4 spot here. You're in the catbird seat, as Jeremy would put it. You can take Hunter if he goes earlier. I don't see the Titans taking a quarterback. Everybody says they're going to. This class is
$100
cheats.
on Abdul Carter, baby.
Abdul Carter is the guy that's going first, and I feel pretty confident in that.
Yeah,
and then
the Ernie Bach Jr. is giving an interview at halftime right now.
no,
The Ernie Bach Jr. You would. I don't think
I
you know who that is, but he does local commercials in Massachusetts.
I don't.
He's trying to get
I would just rather if you have to draft left tackle, you can go Will Campbell. If Hunter's on the board, you want to take Hunter, I totally understand that. I would too. Best player available. Take the best player available, and
Yep.
if that's
They said
and
they're
that's I think they're
shifting
going.
towards that strategy this year.
So you're probably going to see Hunter taken. If Hunter's gone, then you'll probably see Will Campbell taken. I don't think the arms are going to come back to haunt him, but if you don't want to sign Cam Robinson, you want to bring a left tackle in that's a rook, go for it. Build the team around Drake. Keep going, protect him. You can get a guard later on. There's some help later on in the draft that you can get as well. So I saw someone say the Patriots should take Membu at 4, and I nearly spit out my drink.
Who's
This
doing
Membu,
Who the fuck is
not
saying
even
that?
not even a top 10 pick. So I don't know what we're doing, but
I gotta
no
block
offense,
that guy.
No offense there. You want to go over some winners and losers?
Yeah, so
Because I
we
got
talked extensively about the Pats already. They're in my winners. We'll skip past them. Um, I have four winners here for you. One was the Pats. Two, I got the Broncos.
Broncos
Uh,
did great.
I think they did great. They didn't spend a ton of money. They got Talanoa Hufanga from the 49ers, who's out with a wrist injury last year,
That,
but he's been a fantastic safety for them the last couple of years in that
oh,
defense. Drake Greenlaw, kind of the same thing, had a couple injury problems, but he's been a really good number two to Fred Warner there in
yep.
San Francisco. I think those are both good additions, especially when you have the best corner in the league in Pat Surtain. You're not super worried about your secondary. Putting a guy over the
No.
middle like Hufango's, versatile, he can do a bunch of things. That's going to be awesome for them. Uh, the D line was obviously their other big strong point. So adding in the linebacker room is always going to be a plus there.
They added
Evan
Evan
Evan Ingram,
huge.
it's huge, and you know how Sean Payton loves his pass catching tight ends. Shout out Jimmy Graham. Also shout
Evan
out
Ingram's the
my I think I'm getting sick again, which is just awesome.
mother. Uh, Evan Ingram is exactly what Bo Nix needs in that offense. Exactly what he was missing last year.
Yep.
It
No
wasn't
more of
Bo.
the Greg Dulcich and Adam Troutman and the recycled Broncos tight ends they've had the last few years. They bring in a two-time Pro Bowler and Evan Ingram.
Yeah, huge win.
Next up, I got the Bears. They boosted up the offensive line for Caleb Williams. This was really the
Huge.
most glaring problem they had last year. If you watched enough Bears games, you're like, oh, they just have no time to do anything.
Correct.
Especially getting towards the end of the season. There's obviously some hiccups for Caleb Williams in there too, but the line was a big problem. They got Dahlman. Um, I wasn't. I saw the Patriots linked to Dahlman. I wasn't super high on him. I saw a lot of Falcons people being like, it's very scheme specific. So see what happens with that. But regardless, they continue investing in the offensive line to protect their franchise quarterback. Grady Jarrett was cut by the Falcons as a cap casualty. Bears swooped him up real quick on a nice deal. He's going to
Yep.
be awesome in the middle for them. That just continues to get better. They add a top running back. I think they're cooking. Ashton Genty's the favorite to go there right now. Still have my money on the Raiders, but
I don't think he gets to the Bears. I think he's at the Raiders.
yeah, I agree. And then number five for me, I had the Vikings. We already talked slightly about them too. Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave being added to that Brian Flores defense just feels illegal. Feels like that shouldn't have been allowed to happen, but it did.
Yep. But it did.
They also re-signed Byron Murphy.
Yep. It's a great signing.
Yep. Will Freeze and Ryan Kelly on the offensive line, on the interior for whoever it may be at quarterback next year. Uh, Basically, the whole thing, they didn't pay Sam Darnold. They didn't need to. They used that money to make the team better elsewhere. If you were able to make a run last year, like you did, basically just plugging a quarterback in, no offense to Sam Darnold, you would think if you spend the money to do even more, it's going to be even easier. So I like the Vikings offseason. I have two teams that I didn't really know where to put in here. So we'll do
Yeah.
those first, and then we'll hit the
Yep.
losers. Colts. Spent a lot. They got a number one corner. They got a Cameron Bynum from the Vikings, who I really like,
Yep.
on a fuck ton of money. It's like 64 mil. Just
Yep.
kind of shocking to me. Daniel Jones coming in to compete with AR. That division is so takeable. It's so takeable, and all of these teams are just like, do you want it? Do you want it? Do you want the division?
Nobody wants it.
Nobody wants it. The Titans are the other team that I don't know what to do with. Like, both teams went out and spent money. They're trying to add. I just don't really like the additions. Dan Moore, Dan Moore
The
Jr. for $82 million.
I was so glad we didn't sign him.
I was like kind of thinking that was who we were going to get. And then when I saw the contract, I was like, thank fuck we didn't do that.
They're both losers to me. The Colts are less so. They're kind of in the middle. I actually don't hate the Daniel Jones deal. In my opinion, he's better than Anthony Richardson at quarterback play, at actual quarterback play.
Saying
Anthony
something here,
Richardson
Anthony
runs better.
Richardson.
Well, it does, but he's so raw, it's not even funny. You knew he was raw. Um, Please tell me that you have the Dallas Cowboys as a loser,
Yes.
um,
Yes, I do.
because they did. Uh,
They
Retain
did
their
as
long
much
snapper.
as I
Hey,
did with a fucking
retain their long snapper. Good job. Good job,
nice.
Jerry.
Traded a
Got
seventh round,
Kyrie Elam.
sixth round pick for Kenneth Murray. Traded for
Got a,
Kyrie Elam.
yeah.
Oh my good god.
What is
I
happening,
posted that thing in the Discord too. That like they hadn't paid more than like $6 million for a free agent since Greg Hardy.
That's awful.
Noted
They might
great
want.
guy, Greg Hardy.
I don't like it at all. They're awful. Kenneth Murray is not like.
That's
That's
not
your
your
big.
splash. I like Kenneth
That's
Murray.
that's
That's
what we're
not your
going.
splash.
You're going for that splash. That's your big deal. I mean, the whole thing is
Just
Kyrie
lost
Elam
Rico
is
Dowdle, who
great.
was like the only part of your offense once Dak got hurt.
They're in such bad shape. They're in such
All the
bad
way
shape.
out on Dallas. Restructuring contracts to sign a D tackle for you to then do nothing in free agency is just
Yeah,
loser
yeah, yeah.
behavior. The worst of the worst, though, is the San Francisco 49ers. Hallelujah. I called this. Been saying it for a while now. Been sick of people shoving this team down my throat for years. They're always hurt. They always fold in the moment. I heard Jeremy today compare Trevor Lawrence to Kyle Shanahan. Perfect comp. Super overhyped. Everybody just assumes they're awesome all the time, and then whenever the fucking moment comes up, they shit the bed. Kyle Shanahan is 28-3. That's what I will always remember him for. He can do all this fancy stuff in the run game. Doesn't matter. That team is fucked. They are dead. Every single person that was worth a shit on that defense, not named Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, is gone. The offense is Brock
Christian
Purdy
McCaffrey.
and Christian McCaffrey. Sweet.
Yeah,
See how long that lasts.
you got to pay
Go
Brock
pay
Purdy.
Brock Purdy. Do it. Do it. I would love for them to do that.
I don't understand it. I don't. So I'm not a certified hater like you are
I would have
of the
just been
40.
like, I'm gonna just cancel the season. We're just not gonna play this year. Give us like fifth in the draft next year. We don't even need one.
I don't get the Purdy thing at all. But I'm not a hater. I just don't get the Purdy thing. He's fine. He's like pretty accurate, and for like a seventh round pick, he's really like overpaid for his position at this point.
He's in the
Like
bottom
he is.
tier
He
of
is.
starting quarterbacks. He's fine.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not good.
He's,
He's not great. He's not. There's
you would need to have a generational defense, and Christian McCaffrey would have to have more than an MVP season for you to win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy.
yeah. They have a horrific schedule next year, so that's gonna help them out. But they're gonna look like a Chargers team or a Bills team where you're like, oh, the quarterback is good enough to carry whoever's gonna be there, like Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. That's not Brock Purdy. He's not gonna do that. He's not going to turn. I saw them sign some shitty receiver today, but he's not going to turn those guys into stars. He's not Tom Brady. He's Brock Purdy. He's. I'm glad. I'm glad I
He's
don't have to fucking hear about them for a couple years. I hope everybody just gets completely overhauled. Brock Purdy's fine at
uh,
20 million a year, and other than that, you're out of your fucking mind.
I had every intention of putting Commanders are a winner in my mind. They didn't need to add a bunch, but they added enough. I was going to put Seattle as a loser
I
until
have
they signed
Seattle as a
Darnold,
loser.
and they added Darnold, and I like that. The play action game there in that offense is going to be elite.
Green Bay is a
Um,
loser as well.
Green Bay didn't. What I don't know. I
They
hardly
signed
ever
Nate
heard
Hobbs to big money and the guard from the 49ers, whose name is escaping me. But their best player on the line is Elton Jenkins at the same position. So, I don't know.
It's not.
I'm out on that Green Bay offseason.
It's not great.
No receiver. Same thing as us. Everyone was linking them to receivers all offseason. They didn't do anything.
We have to talk about the Jets before we get on to Stone Stories here, because obviously the big news was the release of C.J. Mosley and Aaron Rodgers, and like they got rid of a bunch of other guys. And Jet fans were so ready for a Tyrod Taylor run season. They're ready for it. And
You
then
got better. You got Frog Boy.
you got Justin. because that's what everybody wanted, Justin Fields. I
The
don't know
Ribbit kid.
why. I don't know why I don't like him. Jeremy says it's nothing but pain. He's not happy about it at all. I
No,
don't
I watched
understand
his
that.
soul leave his body on stream the other day when it
I
got
don't.
announced.
I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Someone said don't sleep on the Jets, and they have all these young guys on there.
Cool.
The same team that
I
had a
saw
Hall of
that
Fame
tweet and
quarterback.
laughed.
Don't sleep on the Jets, and everybody's reply is sleeping gifts. It's amazing. Um, I like Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson and Braylon Allen and all those other guys at Brees Hall. Love them all. Garrett Wilson,
Great
give me
pieces.
all great pieces. None of them have won shit.
Ton on the
Not
defense.
none. Not a single. They put up like a, what league average 20 something points. They average less than Braylon Allen's age. Let's go ahead. Don't sleep on them. Sure, sure. LOL at the Jets for
The Steelers have no quarterback and let Justin Fields walk out the door.
they let him go, and then Russell was considering. Apparently, Russell was considering going back to the Steelers, and the Steelers were like, "We'd love to have you, but we're waiting on Aaron Rodgers." And Russell's like, "Never mind." And he took a meeting with the Giants and the Browns.
The Browns one makes no sense to me because you just
Makes sense.
traded for Kenny Pickett and you're drafting one. Why are you bringing in
Yeah.
Russ?
Well, because they may not draft for one. Depends on what Russ has to say.
See, that's stupid to me.
Yeah, I
To
don't know
do
how much
what?
he has.
You were awful last year. There's nothing on that team.
No, it's not any better. So,
It's Denzel Ward and Miles
uh,
Garrett versus the world, and Nick Chubb is your offense, and he's gone.
yeah, yeah. It's not great. It's not a great situation. We got a couple of quarterbacks still waiting to sign, and apparently the backup quarterback market won't go anywhere until they find out where Aaron and Russ are going because they either don't want any part of it or could potentially have a starting job if they follow them. Both have been objectively terrible. Been
Outside of
awful.
Derek Carr, those are like my two most hated quarterbacks in the league over the last decade.
You surprised Cousins didn't get cut?
No, I'm not. I feel like that will happen next year if it happens.
Now, I mean, it's easy. Once again, when you're sitting on a boatload of cash, it's really easy. It's easy to lose.
Sure is.